algofactory.tech, the only education and training site for trading that not only teaches you how to trade, but teaches you how to build the very algorithms that will make you successful, and unleashing the algorithm on your behalf so it can pilfer and scrape and cut and gut and fillet profits directly from the market day in and day out. You're not going to get it anywhere else, just here. AlgoFactory.tech. It is worth its weight in gold. You teach a man, you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. You teach a man to trade, he can work from anywhere in the world for a lifetime. With that being said, Cowboy, let's get into it.
All right, yeah, some pretty exciting stuff happening. I've been covering lately on these shows what my coder has been doing with me. We've been coordinating. I've been adding pieces to the formula, and we're getting to a point where things are looking very profitable. I've got the code that I like, and we're adding bits and pieces to it that it shaves off. More and more losses get shaved off. And what I did was, and we're not going to get too far into the whole story, but the most recent iteration actually is really great on like the 5-minute chart. So I've got a scalper, and I designed it to where it knows when to turn itself on and off. So basically, one of the things about when you're coding algorithms is that, they don't always run. They're not very, they're not always profitable. There's like conditions in the market where, okay, it's doing really well for this week. Why is that? Oh, it's really not doing that well for this month. Why is that? And I went ahead and was able to decipher what that reason was. And for the lower time frame, I'm able to code when for the algo to turn itself on and off. So this is an algo that's really rare in that, provided that it's continues to go along the current path, as long as things continue as they're continuing with the development of this thing, it might be one of the truly turn on and walk away algos, which that's very rare, right? But I've been doing this for how many years? I've been doing this like algo wise since 2019. Right? I've been trading. So I've been trading since early 2010s, and really full-time trading since 2017. And sure, I was using algorithms technically. I didn't know that I was, but with this algo aspect, I've been developing this for 4 years. 4 years, more than 4 years and a few months. So, it's really kind of coming together. It's very exciting stuff. I'm going to spread this link really quick on YouTube. Okay, so let's see here. The website's up there. Come check us out. See what we do. We have a whole group of classes where we teach everything from trading basics for your new traders. We also have more advanced concepts for our experienced traders who want to learn how to build trading algorithms. And just a quick reminder, like I say every day, the term algorithm does not mean some kind of crazy, I got to have like this supercomputer with this guy, and he's got really thick glasses, and he's an MIT grad, and it isn't like that kind of thing. Anybody who's trading successfully, whether they know it or not, is using an algorithm, and it doesn't mean that they have it hard coded. They're just using a set of rules by which they trade, and we work on that basis. We actually work on the old-fashioned, develop a trading method, and it is an algorithm by definition, and then we have an in-house coder who can get that coded for you at a fraction of the price of what that might usually be, which usually that's going to be something like, I've heard anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 to have one truly coded. But we can actually direct you to somebody who do that for a fraction of the price. We got Brad King and Valley Girl in the chat. Good morning. Also, we have the QR code on the screen. Go ahead and zap that if you want to go over to the website, or I'll put back up the URL, www.algofactory.tech. And then let me look over in our private group. We'll see how many people are on over there. They're not on at all. We're not even streaming over there, so let's fix that. Okay. Now we're live on the private group, and that's okay. The stuff that we just said in the private group is stuff that they already know. So, the first 2 minutes of everything, they're not missing anything. All right. So that said, actually, what's been pretty exciting is the stock market and gold. I don't know if you're watching that, V. Did you see what happened to gold yesterday?
I totally missed it, man. I was so busy handling gold deals that I missed what the price of gold was.
Wait, you're selling or whatever, you're brokering
Yeah,
the product.
yeah,
You were not knowing.
major levels of gold, and I don't even know what the spot price was at the moment. What's it at right now, man?
Oh, it's sitting at 1976.
Damn,
Yeah,
that's up.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing here. Let me go ahead and bring up a chart, and we can talk about what happened with gold. You know, I actually am able to trade gold. I have access to that market. Let's see here. Anybody trading Forex used to be able to trade gold. That was a thing. But in the United States, you know, that a lot of those began to be considered a CFD. So at this point, you know, you have to figure out how to do that. There are those who find exchanges where you can go that are like, you know, they don't check to see where you're from and you put crypto on there. Remember, those are kind of risky, and you have to also check with your jurisdiction. You have to make sure that if you're going to trade someplace like that, that you are legally allowed to do that. And I know places like New York can be rather strict. So, you know, keep that in mind if you're going to go and play on those places. But
New York
the way to
being
trade,
strict?
huh?
New York being strict? You don't say.
Yeah, right. Well, New York is they want you to play in their pool.
The worst.
They want you to play in their pool.
Yep.
And you don't get to play in your own pool. They want you to play. Well, we're gonna play over, you know, in this sandbox over here. You can go ahead and you can trade all of your little stocks, you know. But actually, one way to play gold if you don't have access is the miners. So the gold miners are actually a really good way to go. Let me see. I think there is actually a gold miner ETF. So there's the VanEck Gold Miners ETF. We'll take a look at that. And that's just, you know, let me go ahead and overlay the price of gold on top of this. And you're looking at a 12-hour chart right here. And we'll see what the correlation is on this. Okay, very close correlation. You see that? In fact, the gold miner ETF is almost like a leveraged version of spot gold. Okay, so if you look at it, you can see the orange on the chart is gold, and the miner stock is the purple and white, my typical colors for Japanese candles. So if you're using the same kind of algorithm to trade either one, that's where you can do that. So if you're trying to catch the moves on gold, then going to the VanEck Gold Miners ETF, that's on ARCA, so you should be able to get it on whatever major broker you use. We don't recommend any major brokers. I know if I was to trade through TradingView, like I always do, I probably would be using Interactive Brokers, because that is just one of the APIs that's available where you can trade directly from TradingView. And of course, on Algo Factory TradingView is where I build my algorithms. It's a very powerful tool. You just have access to so much on there, and there's a lot of people who build these custom indicators, and you get to actually have access to their source code a lot of the time. Most of the time they let you see their source code. It'd be good. Thanks for the reminder. I uploaded the show replay from yesterday and forgot to actually post it. Let me just do that real quick. 7/18/2023 Live Lab. Let's go ahead and copy that link. So what I do, folks out there in YouTube land, is we record. This is the free part of the show. For the first half hour, we have kind of a beginner show where people can come on and ask questions in YouTube, for free. People out there who are with us in Algo Factory or not with us, who are just kind of out there curious about us, can come in and actually ask questions in the chat. And so that's actually amazing free service that not a lot of people are taking advantage of yet. But I think we're going to have, as soon as our name kind of gets out there a little bit more, we'll probably have more people coming in to do that kind of thing. So we record that, and we record the private lab, and we share that over at Algo Factory, which I just did in our private group. So there you go. Be good. Sorry for the delay there. Let's see here. We got a few people, in our private chat. I've asked, hey, how are you doing? What's going on? We got people back testing. We have people live testing already. I know one of my guys was over 100 back tests, so kind of getting into it. And the process, again, just to kind of remind everybody of how that works, the process is where at least how I do it, you got to make your own choice, but how I do it is I back test an algorithm about 200 times if I can. If it's a higher time frame algorithm, then I might not have enough data, might not go back far enough. So I'll test at least 5 years worth of data in that case. And then once I have an idea of, expectancy, which is basically your hit rate, that's your hit rate is how many times out of 100 you're going to win. So 80%, 60%, whatever it is. 80 is rare, but 60% is not uncommon. And you multiply that by your risk to reward ratio, which we've covered. Even in this free live lab, we've actually covered risk to reward ratio. If you look back at the clips, if you look back at the live lab on YouTube clips, or if you're over on TikTok, you'll see it, risk to reward ratio. It's on there. You multiply those two, you get like basically expectancy, which is a number you can calculate. And it means that every time I click this button, I'm going to make an average of this much money, right? So let's just say I'm going to risk $1,000 on the trade, right? Well, then my expectancy is going to be like an average of the results, or I can say every time I click the button, I make $1,282. Now, there might be times when I make $2,400. There might be times when I lose $1,200, but overall it averages out to being $1,282 or whatever the number is, right? So, and once I have that number through back testing, then I go ahead and I start forward testing, where I test live and I do a small position, maybe like a quarter size position, so instead of $1,000, I do $250, or instead of $100, I do $25, whatever my number is, right? And then I go ahead and I'll do 100 trades like that. And that could take a while. It depends on, you might not, if you're in a high time frame deal, you're not going to have time to go 100 trades because, that's going to take you 5 years. So, so you might have to kind of move things along, a little more quickly, but that, ideally it's 100, but you might not, you might have to only go 20. It just depends, right? But you'll get an idea of whether or not you're profitable. And then once you know you're profitable, then you can talk to a coder, have that coded, and so you can kind of understand, okay, I can turn this on, I can walk away. I know that perhaps in the month of August, my algo doesn't work that well because there's not a lot of liquidity or whatever. There might be conditions where you've studied and between, every Sunday through Monday morning before market open, you don't trade because the trades don't go that well, right? Or it might be whatever it is. You studied it. You know the best times, the best dates, the best months to trade, and you turn it on and off, right? Well, the algo I'm developing, it automatically knows those time periods. It automatically knows when and when not to apply the trade, which is so cool. So back to gold. Now, this is the gold miners ETF. So if you're looking at what is this, the 12-hour chart, we're going back to 2020. Gold went pretty high in 2020. This was the COVID crash right here. This big kind of move down, and then price went really high, like really high. This is all in percentages. So you're going from negative 37% to like 70%. So if I take gold off, because I just wanted to show you that you can, it's pretty closely correlated. In this case, the gold miners went down to $16 per share on this ETF, and then up to $45. And that happened March of 2020, and it pretty much tripled in price through August of 2020. So all the way through that very same summer, anybody who got in this ETF relatively, you might not have caught the bottom, but you could have gotten at least like a good double, a good times two pretty easily. Well, those miners have been up on the rise lately. Like they actually moved down to about the $20 price in October of 2022, September 2022, which is rather interesting because you would think that gold would go up and gold miners would go up during this this special military operation or invasion of Ukraine, depending on which side of the politics you're on, what you want to call it. If we go over to gold, it'd be interesting to take a look at that. Okay, so here we are in, where's 2022? Same thing, early 2022. Usually you would think gold would go up during an invasion, and it did spike a little bit. Maybe like the first couple weeks of the invasion, it went to like 2000, and then it all got priced in. Now it's headed back up. But the invasion's old news, or the special military operation, whatever you want to call it. That's old news by this time. This is November of 2022. What's happening here that would cause gold to go from 1600 to 2000? That is a 25% hike in gold price. And now it's just kind of, right now it's been hanging out down here a little bit, right? And we've been charting gold pretty often in the, on these shows. So we have an idea that gold is kind of what could be a pretty bullish moment. But just yesterday, we had a pretty solid move up in gold. And it was a move up that actually broke some resistances that were notable. So if we go back in time a little bit, we're going to see that since early June, gold has been below, 1973, right? And in fact, there is a resistance right at 1983, which was tested yesterday. So starting with 17th July, well, yesterday was the 18th. So yesterday, gold went from 1960 to 1980, which is notable, right? So that's actually $15 hike, more or less. And it all happened very quick, and there's been a lot of those lately. You've had this move right here. Let's redo this real quick. So you've had that move. You've had this move. You've had this move. And there are some things happening. I don't know, V, if this is more of a drips conversation, but do you have any input as to why we would be seeing a kind of a drastic set of moves up in gold over the past, month or so?
That's a drips conversation for tomorrow.
That's true. Okay, so we're going to cover that kind. Is it a geopolitical type thing?
It is, and industrial.
Industrial.
Yes. Well, I mean, with the gold industry, not like industrial.
Oh, okay. Then you're not saying gold's like to get all of a sudden be some part of like some invention, like gold helps
No.
Okay.
It's the gold is going to be part of the new time machine.
Yeah.
The Area 51 is developing to go back in time to stop the birth of Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin. Don't worry, only America has this technology. Nobody else has it. That's why all the alien spaceships crash in America. Yeah, they crash here because they love the freedom. Yeah.
Do you buy the alien thing?
No, not one bit.
No, a lot of people do. A lot of smart people do.
Yeah, no, not one bit. I don't buy it at all. Period.
Interesting.
Especially from a country that's bullshitted us since day one. I'm not gonna believe a damn thing they say. That's number one. Number two, there are these anomalies and entities, and I've looked deep and hard into these things for like over a decade or so. I don't think these things are extraterrestrial, as they would say. I think they're intra-dimensional.
Oh, okay.
And even look, there was that Air Force study that was put out by two colonels several decades ago that I have a copy of that study that was from the United States Air Force. And these two secular colonels who investigated this paranormal activities, basically what it is, they equate it to quote-unquote demonic activity, which is also pretty interesting.
And they're secular, meaning that these two guys are not religious.
Correct. So this is why these quote-unquote aliens have really no knowledge of deep space, and their knowledge base is kind of governed to our world, so to speak. So
so this is going way off the reservation.
Yeah, I was there for Thursday.
Yeah, this is like, okay, so, but and that might not even have anything to do, or it might, with gold going up, but it seems to me that the reason that gold is hiking up has to do with geopolitics, and it might have something to do with the gold industry, and we're going to talk about that tomorrow, basically, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I would say you're going to talk about what you're, for the most part, you're not allowed to talk about. You might hold a couple of things that you're truly not allowed to talk about, but there's basically what happens on Thursdays. The gorilla comes on and he's able to say to our kind of private audience some things he doesn't say anywhere else.
Yep.
So that's,
I won't even mention it on Rogue.
Not even on his main Rogue program. Yeah. So, which,
right.
You think you'd want to, do that, but I guess the info is sensitive enough to where you want to keep it kind of quiet.
Yep.
But right now, gold is in a high and tight flag. So basically, a high and tight flag, the one asset I do not trust these in is Bitcoin, right? But we're not looking at Bitcoin right now. We're looking at gold. So, this is a decent indication that price is going to go up. Doesn't mean that it will. It could flop down from here. But when price heads up in such a strong manner, and then it consolidates like this, or if you ignore the wicks, you could even say it's consolidating like this. What that means is that price is in an upward trajectory, right? And right now, though, it's hit a resistance, and naturally so. You look back here, price up here has, let me see here. Whoa, there's my arrows. 1, 2, 3 points, right? Where price has not been above that for a very long time. Okay. So I could just put a horizontal ray kind of across the top of these. And, no flag though, yeah, it's consolidating below that resistance. And I'll take a look at some metrics here to be sure. But generally the way these things work is you get an extension. It could be as long as 1 to 1. It might be not quite as high. That's assuming that this is the low. I mean, things can actually change. But if I were to kind of predict things, I would look at the next set of resistance, which you'll see right there and here. And the real one is like the real high ones, like about 2060. That's a big one. So those are the areas that price might get stopped at. And I don't know, in the meantime, it'll probably won't make it quite past 2023 immediately if it does move up. So I'll use what's called a trend-based fib extension. Those in the Algo Factory know how to use this. And the prices that gold could move to, provided that we see a move up from here, right? The prices it could easily move to would be 1993, 2005, 2021. That's where if I were in a long, if I were to trade this, one way to possibly do this would be to look for the breakout. Let me zoom in, make this more clear, take away some noise. So if gold were to break above that resistance that's been holding it down, right, and it were to actually act like a flag, one could look for the breakout and have that 1984 area reclaimed, and then look for a retracement and long that, right? One could long that and then look for your targets where those lines are, and perhaps have a stop loss that's something like this. And of course, one could use the same pattern on your ETFs. The numbers would be different, but the pattern should be about the same. I'm giving you free money here. I mean, you're looking at like what could easily anything from like a 2.3 to 1 to say a 4 or an even 5 to 1, depending on how you do your stop losses. That's like free money right there. So on the free money tip, let's go ahead and get that gorilla send off. We'll move over to our private group.
All right. Thank you all for listening in onto this free live YouTube demonstration of what we do day in, day out on Algo Factory. Look, don't waste any time. If you haven't done so already, join Algo Factory. Make a difference in your life. Whether it's putting yourself in a better financial position, whether it's buying that dream car of yours, a dream home, or it's taking that great vacation you always thought about, or just prepping for what is to come. Whatever your goals are, right? Putting it away for a rainy day, knowing that, hey, Social Security's not waiting for you. AlgoFactory.tech is going to help you get there. The most powerful leverage you have right now in the Western world and throughout the world is trading. This is the highest craft, folks, and you're getting the real lessons right here, taught to you by the pros. So come check us out, AlgoFactory.tech.